luxury shoe designer. I produce my shoes in Italy and I'm based in Miami. I'm gonna give you a little resource that's gonna help you build and start this brand. Have you ever dreamed of starting a luxury fashion brand? And no, I don't mean the low price, super mass produced fashion brands. I mean a luxury, premium, elevated, beautiful fashion brand. If you have, this channel is for you. Hi, I am Daniela Uribe. I am a luxury shoe designer. I produce my shoes in Italy and I'm based in Miami, sell them worldwide. And I can tell you that I've been in the industry my whole entire life, and I worked in corporate, and neither work nor school will teach you what it really takes to build a brand like this. It's not like building just any fashion brand. It will take a lot, but it's totally possible. I did make a lot of mistakes, and my goal with this channel is that you don't make the same mistakes, but also that you have the appropriate resources to be able to build the knowledge. Because even though I did research all around the internet when I first started, I had worked for luxury brands, I had gone to fashion school, there was not enough resources out there. So that's why I decided to give them to you. And by the end of every video, I'm gonna give you a little resource that's gonna help you build and start this brand. So follow along for more. I'm gonna tell you all about my experience, what I did, how I did it. Let's dive right into it. Story about my career, so you see all the experience that I've had. So I've always dreamed about being a fashion designer. I always dreamed about clothing and couture and fashion runways, but then I went to London College of Fashion. And in London College of Fashion, the first year of my degree, they show you all areas of fashion design and merchandising. And there was one semester that we got introduced into footwear, shoes, and I fell in love with shoes. So my focus for the next 4 years was a Bachelor of Arts in Footwear Design and Development, for which I graduated with honors. And also I did win a Ted Baker competition during my degree. So I became obsessed with shoes. Why with shoes? Because for me, clothing, it can put you up or put you down. If you're not feeling like your body is up to what you want it to be, the clothing can make you feel a little bit fat or a little bit too skinny. They can fit big, etc. You know what I mean? But the shoe's always going to fit. And so I fell in love with it. And after my degree, I did have the opportunity to do an internship with Choo. After that, I was relentless. I really wanted to move to New York after my degree in London. So I had dreamed about DVF and Diane von Furstenberg because I watched The Heels. So like, who has watched The Heels? Please let me know. I was obsessed. And I literally bombarded Diane von Furstenberg until I was able to get an internship at DVF designing handbags, however, because their shoes were licensed by another company, which I still was able to work with alongside and kind of do some CATs and Illustrator work with them. But really, I was in the DVF team in the handbag design for 1 year. Then I transferred into doing one for Paul Andrew. At that time, Paul Andrew had just kind of recently started his brand. He was also licensing other brands like Vera Wang and Edie Parker and stuff like that. And it was a very good experience because I was going from DVF, which was a big established fashion company, to Paul Andrew, who had the luxury and the name and the status, worked with these other brands, but had his own brand as well. And his team was still pretty small. So I got to really see how they were slowly building it. And even though it was small, there was still a lot that I didn't get to learn there, but I did learn a lot from the design perspective and a design team perspective, which is where I was. After that, I decided, all right, I was in New York by this time. So I was 4 years in London. Then I moved to New York City. I loved New York City. I was in DVF, I was in Paul Andrew. After that, it was time to go into buying. And why did I pick to go into buying? So I had been designing for a while, and I realized that as a designer, it's amazing. It's an amazing job, but you don't get to touch a little bit of the truly administrative and business side of the company as much. You don't get enough information there. You do get information from your merchandising team about, you know, what styles are selling, what do we need to produce more of, design more of, but you don't get as much information as I wanted to get to be able to essentially start my brand. That was my end goal. My end goal was that I wanted to start my own brand. I never was one to dream like, oh, I want to work for this and them and that. I did wanted to work for many brands, big brands, but I wanted to start my own. So after that, I decided I will go into buying. Why? Because for launching my brand, and I knew I wanted to be a premium luxury price point brand, I needed to understand the mind of a buyer, because essentially the buyer is going to be the one that will help you break into the wholesale big conglomerate retailers that are, you know, your Saks, your Neiman, all of this, your Harrods, Harvey Nichols. It's the buyers that are going to open those doors for you. So I needed to understand the mind of a buyer to then be able to sell my brand. So I did do buying for a year and a half, like 2 years. I did buying for like 2 years. Great experience. I learned a lot more about the administrative side of things, analytics and numbers and all that type of stuff. It was a lovely job. I had the best time being a buyer. However, my brand was my goal. So I left my corporate job from New York City and I came to Miami. I grew up in Florida. I am Colombian though. I was born in Colombia and then I moved to Florida when I was young, like 13. But I moved back to my parents' house to start this brand. The next video, I'm going to tell you when I was starting, where I started. I did start by doing a business plan and I kind of focused a little bit too deeply there. And I wouldn't recommend to do exactly that. Now, you do need to have a business plan, meaning a strategy of what you're going to do and how you're going to grow your brand and where you're going to start. But I focused a lot on really trying to understanding all the sites that told you how deep your business plan had to be, and you will need that eventually, don't get me wrong, especially if you want to go for external funding. At the moment, I was not going to do external funding. My family was supporting me with funding and we were going to just bootstrap this thing. So I didn't need to go into that much detail, but the first part really, it starts with understanding the product that you want to make. What's the product? In this case, I was making shoes. Second, what market I wanted to sit at. And third, your competitors. So the next video, we're going to dive a little bit more into how I started the strategy of building my business plan and understanding what kind of collection I wanted to produce. And then how did I get to find the suppliers in Italy that I worked with. So that's going to be for next video. But for this video, I wanted to tell you that about my experience, what I did, how I did it, and how I learned. And trust me, I did learn a lot and I loved all of the places that I work at. And London College of Fashion was definitely key because building a shoe, it's a structure. It's like a tiny, tiny little building. It's like the architecture of a shoe is so complex. And so my degree really, really helped me. I was building shoes myself. Like I was making them with these nails. Believe it or not, I did make shoes with this nail. People won't believe me. And I remember the technicians would just like look at me and be like, God, this shoe's gonna turn out to be so bad. No, guys, my shoes were absolutely amazing. Okay, every time they were great with my nails. Back to the point anyway, definitely needed that education. But what I didn't realize, as I said, was that even with all of that background experience, nothing truly had prepared me to what it was like to start. So stick around, subscribe to this channel. I'm gonna give you tips and tricks and all the things that I've learned, and I'm even gonna later on in the process give you some templates and resources that you can use to start, and also where to go and sell your brand and a bunch more of information. So subscribe for more and stick around for next so that you know how to find all your suppliers. But little tip, I did say every single video I'm going to leave a resource at the end of the video. Okay, today I'm going to tell you that if you want to produce, whether it's clothing, accessories, jewelry inside the US, a lot of people don't know this, but if you go to the CFDA website, and you can follow what it's on the screen right now. I'm screen recording how to find it. They have a huge portfolio of suppliers, US based, with different specialties that you can go to and you can start, talking to them and produce right here, which we are talking about premium luxury brands. It is going to be more expensive, but that's okay because that's what we're here for. So if you want to produce locally, this is your resource for today. I'll see you in the next video, guys.